This brand new Shopify store was able to generate $24,837 in just their first month. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact process that we did to not only get to 24,000 in the first month, but also 49,781 in the second month and 53,646 in the third month. So I'm going to take you through the entire framework around, first of all, the product and why this was so successful, not just because of the advertising, which we're going to get into in the marketing strategy and promotion strategy, but the product and the offer that really makes this work. And then we're going to get into the advertising strategy, and then we're also going to get into the back end funnel and what that looks like in order to optimize your conversion rates and actually get people to buy at the most efficient rate. So we're going to go through all that today. But first, if you're new to the channel, my name is Blake Bauer, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of a digital advertising agency called Jet Ads. We help brands grow and scale to 6, 7, 8 figures. We've helped over 100 plus businesses. We have generated over 30 million in career revenue for our clients. And so if you're looking for, an advertising agency or want to learn more about that, you can check the links in the description, but that's just so you know that I'm qualified to be speaking on this. All right. So the first place to start when thinking of scaling an e-commerce brand, right, in that first month and really hitting, 6 figures, potentially within a few months, and 5 figures in your first month, it all comes down to that winning product. And you've probably heard that term before. It's thrown around a lot, but a winning product really is key because there's a lot of dud products out there. There's a lot of competition out there, and there's overall a lot of ways to solve a problem. And customers are always looking for a unique solution to a problem, a better way to solve a problem, a cheaper way, just a superior product overall. And so that's really what I think of what makes up a winning product. And there's several elements that we found and identified that really differentiate winners and brands that are able to grow quickly from brands that aren't able to stand out. And when it comes to paid ads, frankly, are just getting outcompeted and aren't able to turn clicks into actual customers profitably. Okay. So the first thing with a winning product is the first element is they have a problem that they're solving. And that's really key for a winning product because you'll notice a lot of ads are structured around problems. They hook you in with a particular problem that they solve. There's a reason for that product to exist, and it's because that there's a particular problem that they're solving. And that's no matter if you're selling a service or a product, problem solving is key to creating an effective product and business overall. Okay, and within creating an effective problem solving product, the key elements that become of that are, it's not just enough to create a problem solving solution to something or have a product that solves a problem, because there's a million other products out there. You need to have something unique, right? Every problem virtually has a solution. Some don't. And that's where even uniqueness can come in the terms of inventing a product that doesn't exist. And that's actually where this business operates in. This product is one of the first to market of this type of IP and this type of innovation. It solves a very specific problem for a very specific avatar, which we'll get into how important having a specific avatar is. But it solves a specific unique problem for a specific avatar, and it also evokes a strong emotion. And so when you create something unique, naturally people have never heard of that product, have never seen that product solved or that problem solved in that way. And so they're naturally curious. Now, the other element of problem solving is it evokes a strong emotion. So by that, you've probably seen advertising that pulls on, some type of, again, emotion, whether that be fear of missing out, whether that be pain, like actual physical pain, whether that be, wanting to fit in or a certain image of status. It needs to pull on some sort of strong emotion in order to actually stand out and actually get people to motivated enough to make a decision. And so those are the key elements of a winning product, really simplified down, that this product definitely fulfilled. Again, it solved a very clear problem. It did it in a unique way, having a unique solution that was never seen before. And it also evoked a strong emotion because the particular problem that this product was solving was just overall annoying and frustrating and something that they would love to have solved. And it's surrounding something that is also, a lot of emotions are tied to it in that sense. So really good product overall in that sense. And the other kind of flip side of the coin on that for a winning product, the other key element is high demand. And so high demand, it doesn't matter if you have a unique product that, evokes a strong emotion and solves a problem if nobody has that problem or barely anybody has that problem. Now, there's definitely a market for that. There's a lot of service providers that get paid a lot of money to solve very specific niche problems for, high paying businesses and things like that. But for a consumer, direct to consumer product, you need a lot of people that have a particular problem to really scale. Otherwise, you need to really have a high price, which isn't necessarily the best solution. So high demand, okay? And that can kind of come out into subcategories of you have a specific hobby or interest and a clear audience, right? So these are kind of the same thing. But within that high demand, you want to have a specific hobby or interest that it can relate to. So certain affinity, certain group of people, ideally that you can target or relates them in some clear way. And again, a clear audience that you're targeting. So, demographically, a certain age group range, a certain group of people. And so those are the key elements of a winning product to establish first. And again, this product also had high demand with a clear audience segment with clear interests surrounding them as well. All right, now once we establish that, right, we have the product and we're essentially going to market and looking to, scale this thing. And maybe that's the whole reason that you clicked on this video. You want to know how to run ads, how to scale a business, right? Now, again, a lot of the heavy lifting is done once you have that clear product, the clear audience. Things get a lot easier to build out the campaigns and the structures and things like that. Those are the small details that are going to yield great results if you have a great product in place. So this is the campaign structure that we currently use. You can see our results right. We spent $2,800. We generated $9,800, just under 10K at a 3.51 ROAS for this product. And we had a couple of different campaigns that we tested. The main kind of standout one being this particular campaign right here in the middle at a 4.02 ROAS. And so you can see here, our click-through rate, 1.73, spent about $0.64 on each click, okay? Or getting an add to cart at about 21 cents and a purchase at about $41 with an AOV of 167. And so we do calculate the economics to make sure that this makes sense. And so I'll show you what that looks like right now. Okay, and so this is what it looks like to have the economics kind of laid out to understand our profitability, our break-even ROAS, and really how we can scale. And so this is something that we build out for each of our clients. I recommend you doing the same so you really understand your numbers. When you get into the paid advertising game and scaling acquisition through paid, you really need to know your numbers. And so for this particular case, you can see we have a 55% gross profit margin after everything. And we can kind of forecast our scaling and what that looks like based on, decreasing efficiency as we're scaling the ad spend. So in an example here, we can see we can do about a 7.5 ROAS. We spend about 3,000, and this is kind of our estimates. And then here is our actuals right here. So this doesn't look at our total ROAS, but actually our backend revenue inside of Shopify, which would be referred to as MER or marketing efficiency ratio. Okay, and so we can calculate in month one, how much did we spend? How much revenue did we do? How much overall profit do we have left at the end of the month? Month two, again, similar breakdown. We can see how much we are growing and scaling. Month three, kind of the same thing. We can kind of see and forecast what everything looks like. Okay, so for that, that's essentially very important to lay out. You need to know your numbers. You need to have an idea of what scaling looks like. And so for us, our AOV being at 167 and our cost per purchase and ROAS being at what it is, we know that this is very profitable for us, and we can continue to scale this up going into the next month. So when we look at November here, you can see we spent $6,700 to generate $26,000. Now this is November, so there is some Black Friday, Cyber Monday overlap. So keep that in mind. And then December, we do also have some, holiday seasonality, which also does help promote this product even further. But just something to know, these are the best months for D2C as well. So 3.31 ROAS here, 21,000 generated in that month. And overall, as you can see, really solid results. And this is the main campaign that we're running. We do have, a Black Friday campaign here that we ran, but this main prospecting campaign is the main thing that we did there. Okay, now as far as the structure of the funnel, and when I refer to funnel, I'm referring to the customer journey that people go through, right? So they click on an ad when they first discover about us. They're going to explore our websites. They might not purchase. They might go through a few other phases before they ultimately end up adding to cart, checking out, and buying. And so just to outline what that looks like and mapping that out before we actually go to market and take a look at the ads, want to map out the entire flow that we use. At least an idea, an example of this is not the exact flow that we use for this particular client, but an idea of what this funnel looks like from a high level. Okay. So first of all, we have our top of funnel prospecting ad. Okay. Now this is the key to all of this. The top of funnel prospecting ad in this particular case is the most important part. And so the top of funnel ad is, again, because we have that product with a clear problem, a clear audience, and the product being positioned as the solution to that problem with a unique element. Very easy to market that, and we just need to communicate those things to our ideal customer, right? And so in that way, our top of funnel ad showcases a before and after is a really easy solution. So before, where you have the problem, and after, where the problem is solved. That's the easiest way to do it. And Pros does a good job of that. This funnel flow here is an example of that. And so they do before and after. They showed testimonials and everything like that, really visual. Similarly to what we did, top of funnel ad is where we educate and we get them involved to show the uniqueness, show how it solves the problem in a really clear way. Okay, now once they click, we are sending them to the homepage. You can do listicles, you can do advertorials, you can do unique landing pages, but the homepage often does work well. If you just have one product, if you have multiple products and you're promoting a specific offer, you will want to do a specific landing page for that. But the homepage was good for us because it was optimized and we have one product, so it operates like a funnel in this case. So we just use the homepage. Now, those top of funnel users that are first clicking over to that ad are then landing on the homepage, and this is where the education process begins. Now, in this particular case, our product is fairly self-explanatory, but there is still some education needed around why our product's superior to other competitors or similar products in the space, what exactly it does, how easy it is to use, reviews, and things like that. And so that's the education process, focus on highlighting the brand's unique selling proposition and trying to personalize that as much as possible, right? And so if they go ahead and they don't, proceed to the next steps, this is a little bit of a different funnel. So this isn't exactly what this brand actually did, but that's where if they don't buy, they will get incorporated into some sort of remarketing campaign, right? Where we show them a remarketing ad, which is more offer driven, more benefit driven, and that's where we can get them to continue the rest of the funnel, which is more about education. And so this funnel, again, is more complicated. Our funnel is much more simple. So essentially it goes click, homepage. If they don't proceed all the way to checkout and buying, they would see some retargeting ads, and then they would proceed to checkout, purchase, and purchase done, right? And then they get incorporated into some email flows and things like that. And we do also have an email flow process, which I recommend setting up so people can you can get their information, follow up with emails. Okay, so with that process laid out in the actual ad account, this is that entire range right here. You can see our top performing ad incorporated that same kind of process. We've tested a lot of different ads, and so this is really working through those different angles with static creatives and video creatives on unique angles for how we can solve the problem, how we're differentiated, speaking to our ideal customer, and really just testing a lot of different creatives and angles. And so that's what we're doing here. You can see in terms of the account structure, I'll quickly go through this. It's quite simple though. We set up a Advantage campaign budget turned on. So it's a campaign level budget. Okay, so we set that at a reasonable range. That's good for us. Okay, and everything else is the normal settings. Now, as far as the ad set level goes, how we do our ad set targeting is pretty simple. So we always optimize for purchase. So this is a conversion-based campaign. We're optimizing for purchase always in our ad sets and in our campaigns, okay? Within this, we do have dynamic creative or flexible creative turned on, okay? So within our audiences here, we have it set to the location, the relevant genders, and we do include one interest that's the most closely related, the most no-brainer interest to include for our particular audience. And so if that is, that doesn't make sense or you don't have a particular interest, you can do broad targeting. However, I do recommend switching to the original audience targeting settings. So not using the Advantage Plus audiences, switching to the original, but then the Advantage detailed targeting is always going to be on now. So essentially, no matter what interest you put in, it's going to expand that targeting outside of it. So you might as well just include one interest, and the interests are very broad now and they cover a lot of people. So just throw in the most obvious interest in there. And that's pretty much how we do the entire ad set setup. Placements is all placements. Everything else is fairly automated. Okay, we have all of the settings pretty simple in stock there. Okay, and then at the ad level, obviously you have to blur, all this information out. But for this particular client, we actually found a static ad worked best. And we tried with a lot of different graphics. We tried a lot of different video ads, complicated and complex editing and graphics and things that would get attention, hook attention. We actually found the best ad to be for this particular product, a native ad with no text, no editing, no fancy things, just a long form piece of copy, a image ad with the product in use, and the nature of this product is it's very self-explanatory. You just see it and you know exactly what it is. So that's pretty much all that we did. And this has been our winning ad for, several months. And that's what we really scaled up to hit those months that you saw. And this is a flexible ad. So we had 3 different pieces of creative in there. We had 2 different primary texts. We had 2 different headlines, no description, going to the homepage. And that's pretty much everything for the actual ad setup. So we recommend testing ad sets like we did in the following, using the flexible ad creative format, using one interest, targeting purchases, and constantly testing 1 or 2 creative elements per ad set with 1 or 2 primary text with 1 or 2 headlines, all for specific angles that are differentiated so that you can constantly be testing. And when you find one ad that works, because it's a campaign budget, Facebook will automatically prioritize the budget into the top performing campaign, and it will scale that up. And then as you're testing, it'll put some budget into your other ad sets. If they don't work, it's not going to get budget. It's going to continue to filter the budget into your top performer, and you're constantly trying to outperform that control, essentially, of your winning ad. That becomes your control, your baseline. You're trying to outperform that to get better results. So yeah, that's essentially the entire strategy here on Facebook ads. And that's the entire strategy around how this brand was able to scale overall. Okay, now I'm gonna have some more videos coming out around deeper insights into copywriting strategy, creative strategy in particular, and then as well the media buying strategy in more depth. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of those videos and understand exactly how to do this more in depth. And also check out this video next. YouTube thinks you're really gonna like it. And with that, see you in the next one.